CeltsAreHere. Hail, hail, everyone. Good to see you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope this one finds you well. Fist bumps to everyone on arrival joining us live and loud for this one. And if you're watching this after we've been live, thank you very much for tuning in as well. Be sure to drop thoughts, feelings, and feedback in the comment section on this one as we do another live match day breakdown on the channel rather than the pre-recorded and edited kind of version. Again, feedback and interaction always encouraged on this channel. So thanks to everyone that's joining us after we've been live, but of course, massive hello and a fist bump to everyone here live and loud with us. And I've got to say, we went into the game last night. We had a bit of a preview show yesterday where we were trying to weigh up like what is going to be the angle of approach for Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney. Is it going to be all about squad optimization? Is it going to be about getting a A and a B pattern set up for like midweek to weekend rotation over this next little fixture cycle? And you know, there's also new bodies coming into the building. Question marks over a few, some of them to get minutes, and we kind of seen that one unfold in the game itself. And when the team sheet came out, I was very tempted to go live again. I was so tempted to come back live and loud and discuss it, because at first when the team sheet came out, I thought Tyson Maheda was going to be on the right wing with Tuneki on the left. Now, first things first, no Joel and Vuka in the squad, I do think is a bit of a subplot to the squad and how the entire game kind of unfolded in terms of kind of not him specifically, but the symptoms of the transfer policy again in January might be coming back to really bite us in the bum. So there's a few kind of threads that will kind of all interlink as we get through this one. But that was the first one where that was the beginning of it for me, because we've seen how much he'd struggled in the game before. And Sebastian Tuneki, under Brendan Rodgers, Wilfred Nancy, Martin O'Neill has exclusively played on the left-hand side. And Dyson is the one that's had to make do. He's played all across the pitch, really, it feels like, over this season and the Celtic career. But no, in actual fact, we got a bit of a spanner in the works, which is something we did think about in the preview, something completely unforetold, something completely unforeshadowed. And it was Tuneki on the right with Dyson on the left. Now, we spoke about the elements that Dyson could bring to this game, particularly with Livingston coming into this game, going to be setting up very deep and very narrow, protecting the box like it's a castle and throwing their bodies on the line at all times to just stop Celtic everywhere and try and win any crappy little free kicks and set pieces they possibly could. And it basically kind of unfolded in a lot of ways the way you would expect. Typically, but with Dyson Maeda, what you want to see or what you expect to see is a little bit of that second striker element, where in any occasions where their defence and their goalkeeper are going to be in possession, you've got a real live wire. You've got a real kind of backup support to whoever the arrowhead forward is, the lead striker, to try and, you know, get some mistakes, try and just get some easy shots on target, put a bit of fear into the opposition, really just put a lot of uncertainty into them. But we didn't really quite get that from Dyson, particularly in the opening stages of the first half, because for how deep and narrow and everything that Livingston set up to do in this game, it was all on the left and the right wing for us in a lot of different ways. Now, I think Tuneki in the opening stages of the game, because once we get Big Tam up here to try and occupy some of the defence, I really do feel that the veteran Danny Wilson had his hands full in this one. Then the main thing we're looking to do for these wingers is we're looking for them to buy us some space. We're looking for them to take men out of the game and get balls off into the box with crosses or any kind of shot come cross type situations, this type of thing. And Tuneki, for the first, like, we've had Yang do very well on the right-hand side. I don't think, you know, where anyone would really disagree with that. By and large, Yang has been one of the bright sparks of the year, and it's been on the right-hand side of the pitch. But outside of that, the right-hand side has been derelict this year. We've had very little invention on it at all, if anything. And with Dyson, with Yang, and even with Tuneki, it's felt like, okay, we've got a few different options on the right. But Tuneki on the right-hand side totally caught Livingston off guard, I felt like, and he really excelled on this side of the pitch, because as a winger, you know, and you know, so these guys, some of them want to cut inside, some of them have preferences, I get that, right? But in terms of just chance creation, having a guy that can beat somebody and then is on his foot, on his right foot in this occasion with Tuneki on the right-hand side, to just play those balls in. There was a great chance where he made earlier on, early in the game for Negren, but he gets back into this zone and cuts it back into great space. And that's just something that we've not really had down the right-hand side for one reason or another. And take your pick of who's been playing out there for why we've not got it. But it's been a real, and again, that's part of the reason you expect to see Joel and Vuka somewhere in the squad to carry some of the water on this right-hand side. But Tuneki was a real feature of the first half, and Livingston did not see this coming. I think even the team sheet came out, they'd have thought the same thing as I, that Dyson would have been on the right and Tuneki on the left. And these guys were not prepared to handle Taneke. He had his dancing shoes on, and he was taking people to task. He was doing so well. There was occasions where there would be not just doubling up on him, but there would be like 3 players involved in trying to shut him down and kill off the space. And he didn't always need to get past all 3 of them to get some space and to make something happen. But he was getting close. He was getting close to that Paddy Roberts-esque where he could get through 3 guys. 1 or 2 now, especially on this right-hand side, felt like something that Taneke wasn't afraid of trying, was incapable of pulling off. And that was just a real breath of fresh air. I think Araujo really kind of thrived from it, and we've seen a lot more attacking Araujo down the right-hand side as well, which was good to see. It didn't really amount to too much, but this was a big feature of the first half. Now, as we just kind of move the midfield up the pitch a little bit, like I mentioned a moment ago, it was also on the left-hand side. Both wings played a massive part. Now, Dyson had some really great opportunities, especially early going in the first half, down this left-hand side. And some of the deliveries he put in here were very good, And the thing about Dyson on the left-hand side, when he's had good success, we speak about the second striker element where he can just be in the box for any balls that are coming down the right-hand side or coming from someone else on the left, where he can get those kind of poacher finishes and kind of get the goals in. But he is a player that, from the wide area, is normally 1v1 with a fullback. And part of the thing with Dyson is, does he have the guy's number? Is he going to beat him for pace? And when he does, what is he going to do with it? And really straight off the training ground, you could see that Dyson was getting into a zone and just hitting it as well as he could, as early as he could, into this type of zone as often as he could. And it just never really amounted to too much, sadly. It did give us a bit of threat. It really put Vankara on the front foot, really made Livingston panic, and maybe bought us some other kind of second ball opportunities, corners and set pieces, that kind of thing. But I did feel at one point there was a bit of frustration here with Big Tam, because there was a moment where Dyson, Vankara was like ball side of the defender, and all Dyson would have had to have done was like just knock it into his path, and he could have taken it in his stride one-on-one with the keeper. But Dyson is still like no look, just hit it into this area here. And I don't even think Taneke found it. The footage didn't make the highlight package. That's how bad the subsequent lack of chance it came from it was. And Big Tam was not happy, and I think you could feel that. And it was something that then made me kind of pay attention to what the delivery was like and what the link-up was like between the two of them. And it didn't really, these two didn't really bump off each other in a good way in this game. I'm not really too sure if Vankara had any massively successful, partnerships or link-ups in this game. I say I hadn't really zoomed out on that for the whole match. It was just particularly with Dyson after that chance, I kind of paid a lot more attention to it. But having options on the left-hand side, mainly with Sriracha, who again, I think alongside Taneke, was really a main feature of the first half. Of course, on the left-hand side in this left-back position, but in a very Greg Taylor way, was kind of everywhere, was kind of always available for the ball, was always quick to get in the face of a Livingston player, was doing very well to cover his ground and fill back in, especially if we were a bit higher up the pitch and the ball was getting played in behind, that kind of thing, and was a real standout. But I think the main thing for him that we see in terms of how you feel about him on the pitch and how you feel about the team is it gives you someone who just sees the big picture. It feels like the passes he plays and even the positions he takes up, he's got a really good on the pitch IQ, football intelligence, whatever we kind of refer to it as here, for just being in the right, not necessarily just being in the right place at the right time, but good decision making. When to play a big ball, when to play safe, when to kind of venture forward and even sacrifice yourself on one of those runs to try and buy maybe a bit of space for somebody else in and around the edge of the box to then peel off and get on the end of something. And having both wings being so vibrant is a big reason for all the chances that we had. I think I seen somebody say that we had 39 shots on target in this one. I do have the stats on our page here, so we'll jump and grab them in a second. But so 29 shots, 12 on target, 2 big chances across this one, and 10 corners. And I don't think we got chances off of every corner, did we? But I think having 2 wings in play and being just as active as each other and being just as threatening as each other, I've kind of put it down to Sriracha and Taneke primarily. Araujo and Dyson did play their part, but I think they were the main kind of elements of it. Gave us something that we've not really had. Now, it is Livingston. They are bottom of the table. We have scored 7 goals in the last 2 games against them already, and we did expect to get a lot of chances. And I did think myself that we were going to score an absolute hatful, where we're going to, score. I went in the end for, if we did play the Dyson and Engels type of situation, if we brought the strong players that had been rested back in, I was going for something like 6. I thought we were going to absolutely pump them And we had the chances, I would say, to convert and to make a scoreline like that reality. And as is mentioned by Oxlade-Chamberlain and everyone else post-match, that's really the problem with this game, is the lack of chances that we didn't take. Now, Big Tam has a great one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and it's probably the best bit of footage to start off with here. Now, I've already kind of done this ahead of time. I felt quite bad last time that we didn't have any visuals. So I've kind of like did this already as if I was making the video and then just got all the screenshots as we went here. But this is essentially the first highlight of the match. And this is a very familiar sight, I would say, to a lot of Celtic fans, where we have Kalmack in the middle of the pitch and he's got an absolute acre of space around him. He's got his foot on the ball, he's got his chin off his chest, and he's able to really scan the pitch and see what he wants to do. And again, he just further highlights his range of passing, his reading of the game, and the abilities he has, you know, and the weapons we could get better use out of from him if he was allowed to be a bit freer, you know. Obviously, the big pass we're looking for is the one up and over the back line here, trying to split the lines, because if you look at how deep Livingston are here from striker to centre back, I think one of these is a centre back, isn't it? It's not very long at all. That's the depth of their entire team is in this little bandwidth, and obviously we're in their half, so you know there's not too much room in and behind there. But if you can get in and behind there, you're straight one-on-one with the goalkeeper. And if you've got some players on the run, which we do in the form in this case of Dyson Maeda, who this is normally the sort of player that comes off the end of these balls from McGregor. He comes in off that left channel, he gets in between the fullback and the centre back. McGregor picks that ball over. Dyson gets a one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Do they always result in goals? It's maybe a conversation for another day, but we've got that. As you guys will know, is this ball gets flicked over, it's actually aimed for Big Tam. And again, that direct kind of route one element of playing it over them in this type of situation, we've not really had. We've really been needing wide players to offer that type of thing. Even Engels is out here in really good space, actually, begging for the ball. Maybe, and again, I think you want to be quicker. I think you want to go back to front as quick as you can in these situations. But if McGregor doesn't choose to do the good ball, the one that comes off, then I think Engels is not a bad second option, just seeing how well he's positioned here. And as the ball comes through to Big Tam, Dyson breaks the offside trap. He would probably be through one-on-one with the keeper. Would he get to the ball cleanly enough from this kind of wider angle to keep the keeper on his toes and stuff? Hard to say. But Big Tam takes a great first touch, and he's got a lot of pressure on him. He knows he's going to have two defenders right down his jacksie as soon as this he brings this ball under control. And really, from here, I think he has to be doing better. Now, you can see it in one of the other angles. I don't think I've got it on the clips here. But when you see the replays and you see it from the other angle, there is a lot of goal mouth to aim for here. And Big Tam, like, fair play to him. Like, I think we're mainly looking at like kind of this area here. And again, I think where he's maybe trying to go for, there's a little slither on this side if you can get it through the keeper. So he's got enough of the goal to be able to aim for. He's had enough time to bring the ball under control. He's not really under physical pressure, although he knows he's not got time to take any more touches or anything like that. And I think we want to see this guy finish it. The question will become, would Johnny Kenny score this? Now, would Johnny Kenny take that first touch? Probably not, right? But this is the sort of chance that we've had go a begging all season. And, you know, I like Big Tam. I think he started the Celtic career well. But I got a lot of heat for it, the way I titled the video when we signed him. But I kind of stand by it yet again. But you know, these are the chances we need guys to convert. He's missed one. Okay, fine, whatever. We can kind of move on from it, but it's noted, you know, and you know, we need someone that can convert way more of these chances than what we've had so far. And that was ultimately the problem of the game. Even if he's not too confident, Dyson's behind the ball, you could just square it, tap in. The ultimate team player, you know. Would Dyson do that? No. Would Kyogo do that? Hell no. Not many people would. You know, you're expecting the striker to take the shot on there. And yeah, sadly, it doesn't convert. The next little slide I've got here, I'll just kind of maybe jump onto this, but it's the first, it's the only highlight that we get of one of these Dyson Maeda crosses. And we've seen this a couple of times in the match. This starts from quite deep. You can see where Negren is dropped in that left-hand kind of pocket, kind of similar to what you'd probably expect from a Rio Hatate, to get on the ball in a bit of space and then play it on the outside of Livingston. Because as much as before, we were chatting about like how far the striker was to the defender, how compact they were. If you kind of look at how narrow they are as well, we don't get a full picture of it on this frame here, but they're also like very narrow together, you know, and if you can play on the outside of them, it's just a dead easy way to bypass players. And the Gren pulled this off a couple of times in the game. Dyson loves making that type of run as well. And when he gets through here, he only needs to take 1 or 2 touches, and he's getting into around that final 18-yard area. This is what I'm talking about, where this is actually a really good ball. Big Tam's maybe not quite read it, maybe not quite being as quick as Dyson to keep up with the pace and the tempo of it all to actually get on the end of it himself. Good thing that Tuneki is bursting along, as you can see down at the bottom of your screen here. It's Tuneki that does, the one that actually ends up getting on the end of it in the end. Because, yeah, Big Tam really should be getting on the end of that, but he just kind of scoffs at it, doesn't he? And I think I must have one more slide for this one, so I made little notes of them all. And Tuneki from this position on his right foot, again, these are the sort of chances we've been getting all season, and he has a lot of goal mouth to aim for, like a lot. Especially with the goalkeeper. Like if you go back, if we can go back to this slide, we see the keeper, don't we? He's at the front post when Big Tam misses it. And this is all in the blink of an eye. So he goes from front post to in the middle of the goal mouth. So he's all the way running towards one side. So going back across the keeper is almost like an empty net, because him to be able to come back and dive that way, it's a very hard skill. Goalkeepers talk about it regularly. You can see where his feet are positioned. He knows he's going to have to think about going either way. And Tuneki takes it first time. He hits it basically right at the keeper. It's a real wasted opportunity. And this was a good outlet that we got from Dyson, like I was trying to kind of highlight before. But there was an occasion where you're just like, you've got to read the play and see that you could just maybe slide it in a bit easier for someone else that's coming in this inside channel with you, rather than trying to hit it across the face of goal for, in this case, Tuneki, but in other games gone by, it's been like Yang who's profited from these types of balls. So yeah, but yeah, Big Tam, I think that was his big chance in the first half, and I don't think it was. I don't think it done him any favors. Won't do his confidence any favors. He's maybe done better with less opportunities so far. And again, like I say, that's just one of the ones where you're like, if we never came out, if we never got off the hook here, that's one of the chances you're looking at and thinking that's where the points were dropped. I think just because I'm just trying to keep some sort of structure to this a little bit, but the defence, I don't think really had any major questions asked of them. I think we all know what Livingston were going to bring into this game, and they really duly delivered in that regard. I thought Negren did a really good job of keeping around the pitch and kind of linking up play yet again, and got himself into some great opportunities. I think the best opportunity of the first half before we get the goal. Yeah, here's another angle on the Tuneki one here. And again, you can just see how far the keeper is off his line as well. And, we're trying to talk about the distance he's covered there. I forgot I had that extra slide here as well, sorry. But, yeah, he's got to be doing a bit better with that. Or a lot better, you would say. But, yeah, this is probably the best chance of the first half. And I'm not too sure what leads to this sequence, but Livingston have the ball on the ground and they're going to try and play out. So they find Stevie May here in the left wing position, who's got Engels and Araujo all over him. And they're just going to force this guy into an alleyway. Tuneki's already on the press with Finlayson here, as you can see. I'll just highlight Tuneki and Finlayson, just so you know what I'm talking about. And the pressure that Stevie May's under from Araujo, just so you can see what we're talking about. Stevie May just walks himself into this alleyway, plays the ball backwards, and Tuneki gets onto it, like we like to say, like a dog-eating beetroot, gets right onto it, forces the error, and is then, like, look at the amount of space that is in behind the defence here. This is something I'm sure they will be very displeased to be looking at in reflection this game, but there's so much space in and behind here. He's playing also as well, everyone on side behind this line, so there's a lot of quick movements that could happen with the ball turning over here, and it'd be very, very, very costly. That's why I press play there, because I'm used to doing this with the actual footage. But Tuneki manages to get the ball off him with ease, gets to the byline, and Ben Negren has managed to read this situation the whole way, because, again, if you look at where he is here, you can see it when you look at the actual highlights, that he's not only watching this, but he has a little scan around. He knows the script when the ball comes to him. And because of that, when Tuneki does go into that zone and really attack the ball, he's happy just to hold his ground, because he knows the players are going to retreat back towards goal, and the space he's in is going to stay. The space he's in isn't going to go anywhere. It's just going to get closer to goal. And in actual fact, the space around him is actually widened. If we could just get a kind of circle on this one. Let's do it from the Gren. There we go. Where, he's got a pretty... Yeah, there we go. I thought we'd get a wee star motion there with that animation. There we go. But he's got a sizable bit of real estate around him now for this ball to be cut back to him. And the Gren gets these chances very regularly. Now, it's quite a tight angle. he does like tight angle shots. You know, he's quite happy, Ben Negren, isn't he, to go right across the face of goal and try and hit it up into this area here where the goalkeeper really can't get on the end of it. And equally, as you can see here with the position defenders, any forward movement, the deflection might help it in towards goal or even bring you a corner or something like that. So this is something he's kind of sizing up. He knows it's coming. It's going to be a great opportunity for him. Surely we've got an our slide here of us taking it. Yeah, we do. And he meets it really nicely, and it goes that way where he's going inside of the defender, which I found quite surprising. I actually thought, looking at this back in the replays, but as it was kind of unfolding, kind of half forgetting how it all panned out, I expected him to try and get in between the defenders with the shot, but he goes right in between defender and goalkeeper here and really tries to lash it into that zone where no one can get it. Yeah. Yeah, I expected a wee bit more of that wee curler, try and bend it round Wilson a bit more. I need to stop this. There we go. Having a fight with the arrows. There we go. Boom. Go away. And yeah, the keeper ultimately makes a good save from it. Is the next slide as well? Oh, of course. Yeah, the keeper makes a save, and then it comes to Dyson, who I don't know why he stoops this low to get ahead on it. I really don't get it, to be honest with you. Like, it's so low where he could meet it with a volley. And again, thinking about like the available goal face here, when you're heading it like this, you're really aiming it in here and then behind this guy. And again, graphically, I'm maybe not able to capture that too well because he's not going to get it over him the way he's heading the ball down. You know, is he going to try and get it between his legs or just out of his range? Whereas if you're able to kind of, you know, he's stooping very low to meet it. Whereas if you can hit it with your foot, actually welly it here on the volley, you know, from this position, in between the keeper who's on the ground, defender changing position as well, you've got a lot of available goal mouth to hit. Let's just, for putting it like that, you know. So I found that, again, at the time, I don't know why that keeps bending. Oh, so I've got the bendy arrow, that's why, rather than the straight arrow. There we go. So yeah, I found that quite a peculiar decision. Do we have another slide for this? No, this is a Sriracha goal. And for the Sriracha goal, I'm pretty sure we'll be okay with doing this. Okay, so this is on the Celtic YouTube channel. We have, I'm going to just I'm just going to reduce the audio a wee bit because it's like crowd noise and stuff. But we've got a unique angle on the Celtic YouTube channel. If you've not caught it already, I recommend you check it out because it's an absolute howitzer. Don't you just love guys that celebrate like this? You know what I mean? He gets it. And honestly, see everyone that says sign this guy up, I'm in that bandwagon. If he's happy to live this life, him and Tierney job sharing, us as a club, if we're going to do this, we kind of need a third insurance policy. Is that Liam Scales? I don't know. Is it somebody like a Donovan who could play left and right or something like that? Alistair Johnson perhaps has maybe fought in a similar way. I don't know. But if he's up for it, I'm up for it. You know what I mean? Like, loved this. It was an absolute peach of a goal. And you see the celebrations, how much he buzzes off it. It's the one thing I've said about so many players we've had in recent times, where like you want to see that they get the shirt, that they play for the badge, they know what it means, they know what the big club element is. They get, you know, maybe they're a fan. Like he's from Uruguay, so I don't know who the comparable club would be, right? But we've got a unique angle as well. The second goal, nice. Let's just watch it. I was going to try and keep it in order, but he gets it in order, doesn't he? We'll talk about that when we get to the second half. Because once we make it 1-0, it's a kind of get out of jail situation, isn't it? That's the only slide I've got for that, because after this, it's the only other highlight that we have is the penalty, which we'll get to in a minute. Because at 1-0, we gain a bit of confidence. We've been getting these chances and nothing's been coming of it. But you know, I kind of felt that when we got to 1-0, maybe a little bit of steam just kind of came out of the engine a little bit, not too much. Now I think that was kind of further emphasised with Arnie Engels going off injured on what minute of the match was it again? Like the 30th minute or the 32nd minute. And Rio Hatate coming on, because Hatate, of course, takes up the left-hand side, as he always does, means Negren moves to the right, whereas Negren was a bit freer with Engels on the pitch. And we go back into this kind of little trifecta midfield between the three of these guys where, there we go, can we... not glitch out today? Is that okay? Can we not glitch out? Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. Anyway, you get the point. Oh, there we go. We got it. We got it in the end. And then can we click off of it? Where the hell's the button? There we go. Where it's a lot more of a kind of it's a triangle shape, isn't it? McGregor firmly at the base. We don't get as much of, and again, there's a really good chance for McGregor before Hatate comes on. McGregor had two really good chances where he was actually allowed to actually attack a little bit more with Engels on the pitch. And when Hatate comes on, it feels like that's kind of away from McGregor's menu. It's not really available to him anymore. And Hatate really picked up, I felt, from where he left off the other day, where he's got a Ben Negren size chip on his shoulder, where he's looking at Negren sizing up a Matt O'Reilly size season and thinking, where the hell have I been this whole time? He's now taking more shots. He's trying to play the assist now rather than being content with making the team function and like maybe playing like Hatate quite often maybe like plays the ball to Sriracha, then Sriracha will swing it in, or he plays Dyson in and then Dyson cuts it back. You know, Hatate's involved in a lot of stuff that's not really recorded or recognized too often. And again, like we always see on this channel with Hatate, the margin of him being great and terrible in everyone's eyes is thin as the hair on your head, you know. And for some of us, that can be quite fun. So it's, but again, I do think that the midfield really derailed when Hatate came on. Negren, I don't know, Hatate covers the ground really well, so I don't think he actually played too bad. I just think the midfield really came undone when he got introduced into the game personally. And then it meant that when we were trying to link up in the wide areas, I don't know, it just felt like it got a little bit less fluid with Hatate on in the first half. And I'm trying to think if there's any other first half action to really discuss, because I think it just kind of ended up petering out in the end. We get to the second half, and the only real highlight other than the Oxlade-Chamberlain goal that we have is the Hatate penalty, right? And we'll kind of discuss this, and then I'll take a wee breather and we'll bring the live chat into a bit of the conversation. We've still got player ratings to go over, as well as I plan on listening to Martin O'Neill post-match with yous, and we've maybe got, or well, I don't know, I've already listened to it. We'll do it if you want. Will we maybe do a poll for it? He did make some good comments. And let's do post-match presser. Yeah or nay? You just can vote on that who are live and let me know what you think. So yeah, tons of stuff to still get stuck into. But with this one, so the corner gets played in from Hatate's sides, right? I'm not trying to defend him or anything like that particularly. I don't really care too much who gave this away. As some of you guys who have been long-standing followers of this content or any content I do, you will know that there is a particular type of foul I have a real bugbear with, right? And it's exactly what happens here, right? And I'll just kind of set it out for you before I get into it, right? But in my opinion, if a player is about to take a shot or make a clearance and someone else can clearly see that's going to happen and they are willing to put their body on the line to stop that happening or to try and win possession or whatever, them getting absolutely wellied by somebody, I think is a terrible decision as a foul. Because again, if I'm in this case with Hatate, it's a clearance, right? And with clearances, maybe it's a bit murkier waters. I get that. But with a striker, this type of thing can happen where, you know, they're through on goal and they're pulling the trigger. They're only got their eyes on the ball and the goal and the keeper and what they're doing. And somebody comes in front of them and gets absolutely clobbered. And then the ref can give it. I've seen refs give it as fouls. And as I say, like, if they want to do that, it's a contact sport. They're putting their body on the line for their team. And if they want to do that, then go for it, right? But anyway, the corner comes in from the right-hand side. And you can see the corner taker here in the first frame. He's just moving away from the corner flag and making his way to the corner of the 18-yard box. The only other two Livingston players that are not in the box is this guy here and this guy here. Every Celtic player is in the box. Every Celtic player, right? So the ball gets put into the middle. The ball's like, I can't even see the ball actually right now. Oh, it's up here. It's up here. There we go. So anyway, the ball comes in. It lands towards the back post. Now, Hatate is on the half turn here. He's looking this way, but he knows he's kind of keeping an eye on the ball going out into this zone, and he's going to be ready to kind of pounce on it. The ball takes another type of bobble or touch or whatever. And again, he's seeing the second guy that's on the edge of the box. And maybe in his periphery vision, he can see the corner taker who's now on the edge of the box. Again, we're moving this through one frame at a time. I've already got this one here. Yeah, he's fully looking over his shoulder, and he's clocked where the corner taker is now. So Hatate knows he's at the back post. No other Celtic players are up the pitch, and he's got 3 Livingston players like to maybe deal with if any balls come over that type of area. The ball does get put back over. It's up here at this point, and as you can see, it's about to come into this type of area here and bounce off one of these heads. Hatate again, he's got his head on a swivel. He knows no one's coming over the left-hand side here, so that corner taker isn't like creeping around that side. Anyone's going to be coming, it's from here, so he knows what's kind of going on. And then as the ball gets headed off, he knows what's going on here. And again, see if you think about the foul that actually happens. Hatate, if the ball's coming down like this, it is so much easier for him to clear this, volley it on his right foot. It's coming across his body, can let it drop a bit, and he can hit it with his right foot and clear it. He knows it's only about getting the ball away from goal. There's no player to try and escape with or to try and clear and counter with. And he knows he's going to be pressed. He knows this guy's in his periphery vision. The corner taker is now coming in to press him. So what does he do? Rather than hitting him with his right foot, because again, if he wants to hit him with his right foot, this guy's going to come across and get kicked. I think he's already thinking about this type of thing as the ball's in the air. He knows the situation that's going on. So he goes with his left foot. And when he goes to kick it with his left foot, this guy, honestly, look at the footage. This guy springs across Hatate to get kicked by him, to stop the ball getting cleared. Now, is he going to get a shot on target? No. Is he going to actually retain possession personally himself? Absolutely not. What he's hoping to do is to stop the clearance. He knows Hatate is taking a big swing at it with his left foot. He wants to stop the clearance and hope that the ball maybe falls to this guy or to that guy, or maybe ends up here somewhere. And that's fine. If he's my player, I want him to do that. If I'm that guy, I'm thinking about doing that. There's nothing wrong with that. The fact that Hatate wellies him, I just hate these fouls. I just don't. I'll be interested to see what you guys think, right? But like, I just hate these fouls. You know, if you're going to do that, if you're going to, and again, look at the footage again. He throws himself across Hatate, and Hatate's, you know, I think trying to take it on his left foot anyway to try and avoid this kind of stupid thing happening. But yeah, if you still think it's a penalty, fine. This is just how I stand, and you'll hear me talk about it again whenever it happens. But people that, put themselves in harm's way and get kicked. That's what you did. It's not a foul for the other guy. The other guy hasn't fouled you. You've put yourself to be kicked. You know what I mean? And if you guys think it's a pen, fine. Well, I'm happy to disagree with anyone, but that's just my POV on it. And I actually think poor Hatate kind of out of it, to be honest with you. So I think, what more could the lad do here, to be honest with you? In any case, he's done really badly. He goes, that's in the second half as well. They go back to 1 each. And then really from that point onwards, the game kind of loses a bit of track, loses a bit of momentum. We make our double substitution. We bring on Adama for Big Tam, which I think was much needed. Big Tam kind of felt like he went a bit. I did say I was going to take a breath and bring the chat in, but I'm just going to run with this a little bit and then I'll do that. Okay. But Big Tam comes off. It kind of felt like he'd maybe ran out of gas a little bit, or it kind of, you know, I don't want to say they'd sussed him out, but he wasn't really given that kind of threat into the game as much anymore. And fresh legs, fresh person, Adamu comes in to do that. And Sriracha is maybe just hit his time on the clock, 60 minutes, where we're going to bring KT in now. And again, that was quite expected before we came into the game itself, that, you know, between the two of them, whether it would be Tierney starting or Sriracha starting, that we would get some sort of job share action on the go with the two of them. So Tierney comes in, and I think at 1 each, as the kind of tide has maybe turned a little bit, a really good sub to bring into it. Adamu, very good sub to bring into the game as well. And hopefully, you know, I think this is a good effort to try and push things on. Now, we maybe get it a little bit later on with the substitutions, but at this point, they also make a double substitution. They bring off Danso and they bring off Kerr. They bring in Montano and Silla. Now, from whenever I've seen Livingston play before, Montano, the last time, scored 2 goals against us. Silla, for Dundee, has always been a very good player to face. He's always been like a strong opponent. Where the hell is this Montano guy? There he is there. And when those two guys come on, we've stopped the game. This is a funny little detail, right? But we've stopped I don't even know who came off. Danso came off and Kerr. So where's Kerr? And yeah, I think Montano was more on the left, wasn't he? Maybe they did a bit of a shuffly thing around or whatever. Something like this, perhaps. I didn't really follow them that closely. But they bring on some of their stronger players into the game at this point. But we've stopped the game to make our double substitution. And then see from there, I tip my cap to the skullduggery, the housery, as people will call it, from Marvin Bartley or Martindale or whoever it is at Livingston, because Livingston then go on to make 3 changes on 3 separate intervals and kind of kill like a good 10 minutes of the game by doing so. Just, it's like with subs anyway, take a bit of momentum out of the game, and with fouls and free kicks. Like, they really killed the clock from when their goal went in until Oxlade-Chamberlain came on. The game was kind of void. Nothing really happened in that spell. It all kind of was, I say, guys down on the ground, they make a sub, we make a sub, someone got hurt. It all kind of went everywhere. And I'm not going to do all their substitutions because I just don't care about it too much. But the double sub that we then make on the 78th minute of Forrest for Maeda and Ox for Araujo, I thought was genius, to be honest with you. Absolute brilliance, because Dyson wasn't really giving us too much, right? And again, by this stage of the game, maybe you want to put him on ice, get some fresh legs on. Now, this for me is, like I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, one of the threads we're going to pick up again when it comes to Mvuka, because again, this was clearly a plan coming into the match where Tuneki is your secondary left winger. He's going to get 90 minutes in this game, and you're going to bring Forrest into the fray at some point rather than Joel Mvuka. Now, Forrest coming in at this point, I don't really have a huge problem with or an issue, right? He did fine, he did well, but we've done transfer business. It's not moved the squad on. We were at 1 each, 12 minutes to go. And with the new signing that's meant to have made a difference and play a part in all this, can't even get on the bench against Livingston, bottom of the table. Time will tell. Let's see what happens at Kelly, all the same. But when Araujo comes off, this is the sweetener for me, because Hatate moves into right back. Oxlade-Chamberlain comes into midfield. And I just want to say, before we talk about Ox, Hatate played really well at right back. And I didn't play football to any great level, but one thing I can tell, I really enjoy midfield, right, in terms of watching football. And whenever I'm playing, I always like being in the middle of stuff, and I don't mind tackling and passing and running and stuff. I'm not any great player. Please don't imagine I'm saying anything other than that. But I can't play midfield, especially at 11 aside, because I am forever feared to God of what's around me. I've not got like 360-degree vision, and anytime you receive the ball, I'm always in panic of, the stuff that can go wrong. You take a bad touch, somebody takes it off you, someone smashes behind you, whatever. I love playing fullback. Because see, when you're at fullback, you can see everything. Nobody's behind you. The whole game's in front of you. And you can and as we've seen in modern football anyway, fullbacks can kind of do the job of a midfielder in certain times. And we've seen Hatate play fullback a few times. It's been a little bit of a thing in the chat over the years a bit as well, but I thought he played very well at right back. The difference was Oxlade-Chamberlain when he came on, and I think you've seen a real step up in trip, a real step up in quality. A lot of stuff that he does in 1 touch or 2 touches, so many of our other players will take, Hatate namely, actually, 3 or 4 touches on the ball. They'll kind of pivot and take a few touches and let the opposition size up and then play a ball. Whereas with Oxlade-Chamberlain, it's touch and move. And some of the switches he was playing on the first touch and on the first and second touch, it lifted the ante. It did actually give us another gear into the game and made it dead easy to try and put Livingston under even more pressure, because at 1 each, with the way that they've played their cards with their substitutions and whatnot, they are getting to this game going, let's not lose it now. Let's get out of here with a draw. This would be a massive feather in the cap of the manager, huge boost of confidence for the team, and they are really pushing for it. And then the team just gets deeper and deeper. Ultimately, the boy takes the initiative from the edge of the box, takes the shot, and it's an absolute world day to make it happen. And when you see his celebration, like, this is Livingston bottom of the table. It's a wee bit like, is this what we've got to deal with? Is, that we might be all right here. Ox might be he might be even more confident than maybe he might have been beforehand. But I think this is maybe one of the easiest tests. I did say with Oxlade-Chamberlain when he signed, I just want one of those Juninho performances. I just want a big game, even if it's only one big game. He turns it, he wins the game for us, gets us the points, whatever that interaction, that involvement might be. He's done that in this game. I'm only going to count this, but as like a sign-on bonus or something, because it is Livy bottom of the table, and we had more than enough chances to put this game to bed. And yeah, too many passes in possession at times. Oxlade-Chamberlain was a big catalyst for mixing that up. And no shade on Araujo or anything like that, but again, I really do feel that Tati was just a beat. Because again, one of the things we're after is an overkill. We're after a kitchen sink move where we go two up top. That's been kind of a little bit of the subject on the channel for the last week or two. But even having a Tati is like, and I don't think this will happen again regularly, but him being like a fullback is kind of like a all-out attack move, which did work quite well. Because again, Forrest isn't going to be bursting by people with pace. He's just clean in possession and very good at playing it in between the lines for maybe somebody else to get on the end of. And he can be an effective right winger. And again, everyone that's not wanted Forrest around the last couple of years, like imagine we didn't have him in the building, you know, he's very much a guy I'm very happy is in the squad for these types of moments because you know what you're going to get from him. He's been there, seen it, done it. He knows the pressure. He knows the situation. None of this phases him. The boy in Vuka couldn't even make the bench. Imagine we were using him at this moment of time. Not that Forrest did anything massively pivotal, but he didn't do anything bad. He only helped the cause, as it were. And you know, like it is a real statement of where the transfer business is at because Oxlade-Chamberlain comes on, changes the game, wins the game. We're all up for him playing. But as we maybe now start to move out of the game ever so slightly, Arnie Engels might be injured for any period of time. We are about to play Hibs, Stuttgart, Rangers games are right around the corner in the cup and in the league. One of the huge, right, the striker department was a huge thing we had to do business with, right? And then I'll take a breath in a minute and we can chat about this together for a few moments, okay? But the two big areas, and the two of the four big areas that were in the team was right winger, who the guy couldn't even get on the bench against Livingston away after already debuting, and centre mid. Now, we didn't even get Oxlade-Chamberlain in the building in time to register him for Europe. Would we have even registered him for Europe anyway? Hard to say because we did include Adamu and Big Tam in the squad. But we could all see how razor thin the midfield is. And some of you guys might not even care about Stuttgart, right? But even forget about that. If Engels is out and we're having to play backup midfield at Stuttgart and at these other games, you know, who are we playing? Is it Oxlade-Chamberlain can't play Stuttgart? So who are we playing against Stuttgart? Paulo Bernardo or Luke McKeown, Rio Hatate, one of these guys that are really out of form, out of favour. And then we are requiring Oxlade-Chamberlain to play as much of the 90 minutes as humanly possible. Otherwise, we're calling from the bench Luke McKeown, Paulo Bernardo, and the transfer business again. You know, like Oxlade-Chamberlain had a great debut. I'm sure he's going to be wildly successful in his time at Celtic. I think he'll be able to do everything we want him to. But you just need to look at the way Kieran Tierney's season started, where these guys that have been on the shelf for a while, even Sriracha, you can put into that category as well. If you really put them at the coalface, really throw them in the deep end, you're playing with fire. You know what I mean? And things can go from bad to worse really quickly. Football's got a really funny way of dropping a bit of force majeure in where the one position you underestimate, overestimate, you take it lightly, you think you've got enough that will just about do, it will not. It'll backfire. Right, I'm going to take a breath. There's been a bunch of chat, guys. Thanks to everyone that showed up live and loud. Thanks to everyone that's getting involved in the chat today. It really does mean a lot. A bunch of you have hit the like button as well, which is absolutely incredible. I really do appreciate everyone that's tuning in. And like I mentioned at the tip off, if you're watching this after we've been live, massive fist bump to yourself. I've put the chat up on screen. I thought the same last night, Quinny. Is that... and I think we've got a few different opinions in the chat from the penalty stuff and whatever, which is fine. But like, I can't get away from, especially when it's a shot, right? See, next time it happens to Celtic and somebody's shooting, Bob 1888. Let's have the chat again when we are shooting and this type of thing happens, because like it's if someone wants to put their body on the line, go for it. You know, that's most fouls. I think it's a mad take, a wild swing at the ball in that area. It is a wild swing at the ball, but I think he's went with his left foot rather than his right. I think that's a kind of deliberate decision. The Celtic bench is too good for Hatate. Wonder what that means, CFC. And Paul Douglas, it gives the ref a choice to make. I think most refs would give it as a penalty. Yeah, I think, I'm not saying refs shouldn't give it. I just hate it. I hate it as a penalty. Yeah, I just hate it as a penalty personally. Too many passes and not much happening, says Paul Adams. There was a few references in the chat as well to the horseshoe of death is a hard thing to exercise. And yeah, there's a little bit of that. I do think Oxlade-Chamberlain cures that a lot because he's just very direct with the ball and asks questions of his teammates, like go and run at the man. Tanecki was really thriving last night on the left and on the right. He's really excelling right now, isn't he? The signings seem light with the exception of Ox. He's a proven entity. Yeah, big time. And I think but that's very true. But again, I don't want to be the doom merchant or anything. But like I say, guys on the shelf, you just really need to watch how quickly you rely upon them and how much weight you put on their shoulders so quickly. And Big Rab, I'm really not trying to say anything other than what happened last night. I do think he wrecked the midfield balance last night. I really do think his head is up his backside in a lot of ways. But I thought he played great at right back in the final stages of the game. The penalty thing, I'm not going to repeat it, but I think that situation is just a terrible foul in football. We should be looking to see who's available on the free transfer market. I think that ship has maybe sailed at this point. And Robert, the whole penalty law needs refreshed. There's too much of a gain for some minor offences being penalised by a free hit out goal. And this is, a wee bit of a chat that's been on this channel. Huddle Breakdown, I think I spoke about it as well. And I retweeted some Italian podcasts that were chatting about it recently as well. I'm not trying to jump on any bandwagon or really bring that chat up, but the clearance one independently is a thing I've had a big problem with. Not even just as penalties, but fouls anywhere on the pitch. Like, if it's clear that a guy is just about to smack the ball for a cross or if somebody puts their body on the line, then that's their choice. It's not a foul. Somebody's not fouled you. You have made yourself be fouled. Yanger's rotation and Vuka was whatever. Again, we've got a poll running. Moses have said you want to do it. So let's just go and listen to the main man, Martin O'Neill, because he speaks about it in the post-match press conference. And rather than me, let me get my headphones on so that we don't get double audio. You can hear it from himself. But I think the Kilmarnock game will be the litmus test or will be the acid test, whatever the thing is, for if Martin is telling porky pies or not. Because if he doesn't feature against Kilmarnock, then he's no featuring against Stuttgart. He's no featuring against Hibs or anything like it. So again, I'm not sure we'll listen to all of it, but we'll stick it on. And then after this, we'll do player ratings. Or no, we'll do player ratings first. We'll do player ratings first as we catch up with the chat, actually. Let me see if I've missed anything. There's a bunch of stuff happening. Yeah, Tanecki's went from unreliable to must start. Have you heard anything about Roberto Martinez being the new manager? That rumour continues to circle for a good reason. There's a lot of organic connections there, isn't there? I'm not a fan of Martinez, but I'm sure he'll be a good Celtic manager, really, if we're being honest about it. Yeah, okay, let's just go into player ratings. I think I've kind of caught up with most of the chat. Some of you have been disagreeing with me with the penalty thing, which is fine. And then we'll move into the pre-match presser. Now, what I'll ask is here on the poll is, who is man of the match for you? Okay, now before we get to the player ratings, we do have some contenders. We've got our boy Sriracha, of course. We've got Seb the Reb. Who else played better? I think they were the main two ones, really, wasn't it? Yeah, I don't think there's really much of a conversation. I think it's between those two. Who's man the match for you? So Marcello Sriracha was the highest rated player on the night with an 84 out of 100 point performance. He also gets the opening goal of the game, which is does his statistics and his point ratings the world of good. If I can just remove the chat for a second so you can see this a bit clearer. We'll zoom out one so we can see, yeah, with two, that does about well. So we can see a lot of the bars and stuff. But 61 minutes played. Defensive-wise, he didn't actually do too much. Didn't win any tackles, made 2 clearances, no interceptions or anything like that. Won 2 duels, lost 2 duels. So, it's kind of a nothing, isn't it? But it was on the ball. 62 passes, 33 of them in the final third. 2 attempted assists. So that means 2 of the balls that he played directly led to shots on target, which is very good. 4 accurate long balls in this one, 5 long passes into the opposition. He only missed 8 passes in this game, which for a fullback is very good. And out of his 16 possession lost, 8 of them were crosses that went to goal kicks or throw-ins or a Livy player get a head on it, that type of thing. in an attacking sense, he got his shot on target, also with the goal. He won a dribble, which was cool. But he also played 10 balls into the box, which for a guy that doesn't take any set pieces is quite significant. Tunecki was the second highest rated player statistically in the game with a 76 out of 100 performance. Obviously gets the assist for the Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain goal. Outside of that, not much else to write home about from a defensive point of view. 21 possession lost, which for a winger that's on the dribble and playing balls into the box, if the first touch isn't a Celtic player, it goes down as a possession lost. So this being in the 20s isn't worrying. Oh, by the way, you said their keeper. I meant to give Casper some flowers for his save earlier. We'll maybe do that in the player ratings. But 21 possession lost for a guy that's on the ball all game isn't an issue. It's not really a red flag. If it gets into the 23 and above, you then begin to say it's been quite wasteful. But for how much he was on the ball, I don't think this is an issue. He did lose 10 duels. He won 6. That's -4. Not really a net positive there, is it? But with the volume being up at the 6s, I think he maybe is like amber. It's not a good situation with Jules, but I think we know the high value ones. He had some really good ones. He won and got the better of his man. He had 3 attempted assists. He played balls for someone to shoot, which is cool. 47 accurate passes, and 34 of them into the final third. And you know, I guess these are attempted crosses and stuff, but he didn't actually miss any passes, which is funny. 1 shot on target, 3 dribbles won, and 8 balls into the box for Seb the Reb. A very prolific performance. Captain Callum McGregor, though, finishes the podium with a 67 out of 100 point performance and had no decisive actions. So no goal, no assist, no last man tackle, nothing like that. A lot of you guys are wanting to see Welsh's performance against Rangers. We'll look at the statistics for Welsh if he's want. That's no problem for me. Where does it say Livingston with an E? I caught it this time. Does it say it on this page maybe? No, it doesn't. Or does somebody type it in the chat perhaps? But McGregor, some of the bookings in this game were absolutely laughable, weren't they? But he got a booking, which is whatever. 2 fouls against him, again, which is whatever. We consider a goal, so that goes against him as a midfielder. Only lost possession 1 time in this match, McGregor. He only technically won possession 1 time as well, which for a midfielder is quite low volume. 3 duels lost, 2-1. Again, not really involved in much of the coming and going of the match in that regard, but was very much on the ball constantly, as we know. Had acres of space very often. He had 1 big chance created for Big Tam that we spoke about earlier. 4 attempted assists, so he again directly put the ball on for someone to shoot on target 4 times in the game. 82 passes, 44 of them in the final third. Only 1 missed pass in the match, 3 accurate long balls. And we don't really see this amount of attempted assists from McGregor and big chance created, so it's good to see until Hatate came on the pitch, we're maybe getting a wee bit more out of McGregor in the final third. I think as we get to the late ebbings of the game, he kind of gets off the leash a bit again. But yeah, from an attacking sense, he had 2 shots on target, could have very easily scored himself in this one. He won 1 dribble and played 1 ball into the box. Right behind him, we had Liam Scales on a 60 out of 100. And for Big Scaldini, again, no decisive actions like last man tackles or goals or anything like that. He got a booking also. And I thought Scales was going to hit the ref. Like, honestly thought he was going to absolutely smash the ref at one point. He gave away 3 fouls. He was not happy with the ref at all. I was going to say he was fouled 3 times. I don't know why that looked positive to me for a moment. From a defensive point of view, he made 5 clearances, but didn't need to tackle or intercept or anything like that. The duels, he won 5, lost 7. Again, I don't mind that. It's very much kind of amber. If he wins 1 more duel, it's then 6 and 6, isn't it? So I think he's done all right there. He's won possession 6 times. He's lost possession 6 times. For a centre back, none too bad at all. But check this out: 111 passes for Scaldini, 2 attempted assists. That's 2 balls that Scales has played. Has led to a shot on target for somebody. 55 of his passes went into the final third. 4 accurate long balls, 9 long passes into the opposition. Which is those types of balls we've seen from Maeda, from Negren. Think about the highlights from before. And only 6 missed passes, which, considering what he's doing here, is pretty incredible. And 2 balls made it into the box. No shots on target for Scaldini. Right behind him, we have Negren and Trusty, both kind of jostling for position. Trusty is very similar to Scales, where there's not really that much defensively to write home about. 1 block cross and an effective clearance or 2. Jules, low volume, he's made an interception. But very little defensively. It's all on the pass counts for both the centre-backs. With Ben de Gren, he had no big chances missed in this one. But he did have 16 points in attack. He had 4 shots on target. Should have scored a couple in this one. I think we would all agree with that. He won 2 dribbles, played 6 balls into the box. Didn't miss a pass this game either. 38 passes, 19 of them into the final third. Lost possession 13 times with crosses and such. 5 duels won, 4 lost. One of the only players we've seen so far that's been net up on their duels, the old Ben de Gren. So yeah, he comes out of the game a bit of a winner, I think. Everyone else is kind of meh, I think, for the most part. Casper will give him his flowers here because as a goalkeeper, not much to do in this game, but 1 big save from inside the box. A wee bit of a sweeper keeper he caught in this game as well. And from a passing perspective, he missed 3 passes, made 29 in the game. 6 of them were accurate long passes. And yeah, not much else to say about Schmeichel. The bench, of course, we get a nice debut for Oxlade-Chamberlain, but outside of the goal, didn't really do anything, obviously, but it's fine. 13 minutes of play, getting a match-winning goal. I think we'll take that all day long. Rio Hatate played a significant amount of minutes off the bench, as we've already discussed. He conceded a penalty. It's a negative decisive action. He finishes the game with a 28 out of 100, which I think a lot of you guys would probably say accurately reflects his contribution on the day. 10 possession lost, only 4-1. Again, the duels, low volume, but it's not the right way around. Pass count, 45 passes, 26 of them in the final third. And 7 balls into the box, no shots on target. And from a defensive point of view, no interceptions, tackles, or duels, or anything like that one. And that's pretty much all she wrote for the Celtic squad itself. Looking at Livingston at a quick glance, Kerr got, what's that, a clearance off the line? Not sure what situation he got that for. This Kabongolo performed really well. Pryor did really well. Somebody said you thought their keeper was man of the match. They got, wow, 9 saves, 7 saves from inside the box. This guy was a machine, wasn't he? 1 good high claim, 2 punches, and a diving save. No sweeper keepers, but yeah, 20 missed passes, just big clearances up the pitch, giving it to Trusty and Scales. Fair play to him. Good bit of chat happening in the chat about defence and such, and all that good stuff. Referee was chronic. Did you see the big Livy sub falling down as if injured? Ref didn't blow for the free kick and he got up and started running back. Yeah, I think I did hear a bit of that. I kind of forgot about it until right now, so I'm just trying to remember, but they were at it, weren't they? And again, like, I did kind of semi-admire like Marvin Bartley's sub tactics, you know, trying to just took a nice 10 minutes out of the game and gave his subs, like, if you look at the subs, they all played like 17 minutes or more. Nobody came on for like a pointless minute. So yeah, that's how we finished the game. And yeah, we'll listen to Martin.
From Alex,
what was he saying? Pretty pleased. What?
singing a praise. Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't have to do that. He's been a class player. There's no question about it. He's played for big teams, and he's performed brilliantly. Just delighted to have him. Really delighted.
We do have a poll in the live chat right now for man of the match, so get voting on that. CeltsAreHere or SebTheReb, hit the like button if you've not done so already. If you are brand new around here, like and subscribe goes a long way to supporting the channel, and it will help you get more content like this. YouTube will just let you know when it comes out and give you a wee notification and stuff.
Delighted to have him, getting him on.
And it's free.
The field as well to turns the game for us, which is brilliant, as only he can.
Is that what you had in mind, like when we spoke to you a week or 2 ago, and you said, you know, we're looking at free agents out, so obviously Chamberlain would give us maybe that bit extra? Was that
very, very much so. It was exactly that. Well, did I think he was going to be as dramatic as that and scoring the goal? But I think that he can give us something. No question about that. He's a really decent player when he gets up to speed with things. He's only done a couple of days, and I couldn't be more pleased with him. He's made a big impact, believe it or not, even in the training sessions with the rest of the players, which is that's always a good sign. And you know, I'm delighted he's in, and I think that when he's properly fit, he'll be great for us.
To show that level of calmness that he did when it was a bit frantic, that's going to.
Nothing to really say about some of this so far, to be honest with you, but some good chat coming in about some of the other details from Livingston's housery in the game, and just some of the other stuff we've been chatting about in terms of refereeing decisions and stuff. Chat is on fire. Keep it coming. Hit the like button. Get involved in the poll.
It's going to, you think, serve you well in the coming weeks?
Frantic. You're right. It was frantic on the pitch, and it was frantic in the dugout as well. So it was great. It was just the way, and I was kind of right behind it when I saw him. The minute left his foot, I thought, this is in. You know, it was just great.
We can all see his quality, but you mentioned his qualities as a man as well. He seems like a great character.
He is actually. You know, he's incredibly modest, really, about his achievements in the game, and he wants to do well. And I think he thought himself. You know, he's 32 years of age, and he should be at the peak of his career. Really, you know, he's gone off to.
There is a big upside to Oxlade-Chamberlain that after the goal and then hear Martin O'Neill talk like this. I don't know about you guys, but I kind of felt like, oh yeah, man, like he should be like the peak of his powers now, man. 32, like, and it's not as if like he's not like a James Milner type. He's not played like 1,000 games to this point, and that's why he's had some injuries. He's maybe and a weird goalkeeper, so it's totally different. But you know, like it's one thing I think with Craig Gordon, because he spent so long injured. He's maybe like kind of had an ability to prolong himself in some regard. So yeah, man, in a lot of ways, even though he's 32, like he should be really in a nice, sweet, peak, prime type of age and situation if he can stay fit.
Turkey for a couple of years, perhaps maybe no one wanted to take him. I don't know that particular scene, but he's had a few managers out there, and so he's come back. Didn't have the club training with Arsenal, obviously, the things that we know, and he's come up here and he wants to have a go, which is great.
I would say to Alex that some things are just written in the stars. Did you have a feeling when he came off the bench that something special was going to happen tonight?
Love to tell you that. Really love to say. Did I think he might actually make a little bit of an impact even in the few moments? Yeah. Did I think he was going to score a wonder goal like that there? Not really. But I was hoping that.
If you listen to the Oxlade-Chamberlain interview, the post-match, I don't think I'll do that on this one, but he says like he was thinking about it. Yeah, it's like one of the questions was, did you think that would happen? And he was like, yeah, well, when you're on the bench and you're about to come on, you do think about this type of stuff, you know, like about making it happen. And he speaks very, very well. If you read the comments, everyone's very impressed with him. Handles the journals very well. There was a good vibe in the room as well. Some of the questions were a bit better. About halfway through, somebody just totally went back to the beginning, but it was kind of weird. Where like halfway through, you kind of asked him the same thing. I think it was the very first question. Anyway, by the by. But Martin O'Neill being a bit modest here. But Ox was like, okay, I'm going to come onto the game and I'm going to need to do something. You can hear it from the man himself if you like.
That he would add, just as you start, about a bit of calmness to the situation. We were trying, when Livingston equalised, then of course, you know, crowd get very, very anxious. And when we take 2 or 3 extra passes, you know,
Yep.
There's kind of a feeling which I've known about way back in my time as well, to the minute that goes back once or twice. I mean, you can understand it, a bit of frustration, but you just felt as if, just exactly what you say, just thought he just added that wee bit of class to us, and even in those few moments that he was on.
Wee bit of class, wee bit of composure, cool, calm and collected, all the C's.
Before the goal, Martin, obviously the Rangers were winning at Fir Park. Celtic then score, Rangers then lose a goal. How pivotal a moment could this be?
I think there will be a few twists and turns. I've just done an interview there, and I think there will be. I think it's because, you know, there's a lot of tension around. We've got
Martin O'Neill knows all about twists and turns as well, by the way. Get the helicopter field. Feels like one of those years, doesn't it?
no room to manoeuvre, you know. But you've heard that a few times from me, you know. I'm sick saying it. And but we don't, you know, that we find ourselves in this position. So we've been chasing the whole way. And so what we've done tonight, we've kept ourselves in it.
He created so many chances in the first half.
I think this is really the whole point. The game, honestly, I think we could have been well ahead after 20 minutes in the game. We get the goal, and then you're hoping to add the second one. And we did have chances. We had chances before the goal, and we had a couple of chances after it. But once it's still in the balance, said to the players at half-time, the game's still in the balance, because you know that Livingston are very, very strong with good set-piece deliveries and things like this here, caused us plenty of problems, and that was always a concern.
Are you at the stage now where you are looking at the league table as each game passes by, and there's still 13 left to play for Celtic?
You know, I've always heard this about, you know, that managers, when asked these questions way back years ago, and saying, well, don't really look at the table. I've looked at this table all the time, you know, yeah. Unfortunately, it never changes. It never seems to change at all. But
I missed this on the first listen.
I do, yeah. So I think it's idiocy, really, to say that you don't look at the table. Of course you do. And but it's one thing looking at the table is fine and staring at it. The other thing is trying to do something about it, and that's all we can do. I'm not in control of anything else. I'm not even sure I'm in control here either. But at the end of it all, that's all we can do ourselves.
Well, you're talking about it being written in the stars for Alex to score that goal. Going back to the Motherwell game, Stephen Welsh that scored the last-minute equaliser to pull Rangers back and almost level out the title race.
Yeah.
It just seems like, talking about twists and turns, this season's got so many storylines that nothing would say.
Well, that's true. Well, Stephen, excuse me, Stephen was. We brought him back first of all because we didn't have an extra centre back at the time, but he wanted to go back to Motherwell, which was fine. And I think he was stopped from getting leaving in the summertime. There was a possibility of him going to a football club. It was held back for some reason or other. Anyway, and I think he was disappointed with that. And I think the club saw in many aspects. He was out at Motherwell. He wanted to go back. If he wasn't, he didn't really want to be like. If it came to the point about fourth choice centre back, well, we just had to wait until we get someone in, and we did very late on. And he's gone back there. He's really enjoying himself. He's loving it, and that's great for him.
Very interesting to hear the designation of Welsh when we recalled him, and Ben Arthur. I know Ben Arthur was on the bench, right? But as fourth choice centre back, that's the categorisation which we've had on the channel. But it's good to hear maybe a wee bit of internal jargon from Martin that kind of echoes something similar. Dookie Fetty here is throwing a real grenade into the chat. Thoughts on Eni Aluko? Now, the only thing I'm going to say on this, just as a kind of passing comment, is I can't believe how bad she's let herself get clowned. Like, she's just, yeah, she's just an absolute tube, to be honest with you.
Before the game, obviously your 200th league game in charge of Celtic, and you're still finding ways to free your nerves.
I'm 200 games. Is it 200 league games? I was told that there in the interview. I honestly didn't know. I would have got long odds about that there in about the 5th of October, of last year. Long odds. You wouldn't have gone to Ladbrokes for that one, anyway, So, very pleased.
Straight ahead to Kilmarnock then, Martin. How do you pick the boys up and go again? I mean, you've been doing it.
This is where we get a little bit of insight onto the team and stuff like that, and Vuka gets mentioned and whatever. Thomas Burns, you are a lucky guy. You are a lucky guy. You are a lucky guy. Did you see Raheem Sterling signed for Feyenoord? No, I did not. Oh, did he really? Oh my God. The Dutch team that have been, did they get eliminated from the Europa League? I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did. So he's going there to play some football and try and win a Dutch Cup or a Dutch League or something. Let me look at the league phase. Yeah, Feyenoord did not qualify. And they're not going to win their league either. Do you think they're paying him mad money? I doubt it. I'd have taken both of them. Avalar's Sterling is washed anyway. We have the Ox. Yeah, man. We're doing having Vuka on the bench against Livingston. Give me Sterling over him, Vuka. Dweeb for Thomas Frank and Tube for Eni Aluko. Yeah, I'll tell you how it is. Is Sonia Aluko's sister correct? I wonder what they're paying him a week. It will be interesting. I wonder if we'll find... It's not going to be London Chelsea money. Far from it. They're not even going to win their league. Yeah. 17 points off a PSV, eliminated from the Europa League. Nothing to play for. And we can't, it's a financial gap, eh? That's that's the problem, isn't it? I was going to check something else, or was it just I thought Dyson and Seb were excellent, especially early on. Yeah, I thought Dyson was good, Bobby. I do think Dyson was good, but I think he's just a little bit too. He plays with, he's like a horse with the blinders on. It's just like, do the thing. Don't think about what's going on. Just look forward, do the thing, run, 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 run. Don't think about where you are, what's going on, and these other distractions that will lead you astray. And yeah, it just kind of fizzled out a wee bit, is all I was kind of meaning on that one. Ox will get 10 plus goals, says Celt 6788. I'm going to end the poll on man of the match. And yeah, I'm just going to end it now. 65% of these give it to Marcello Sirachi. Congratulations, Sirachi. Well done on that one. Is it true Brad Spencer is John Spencer's son? He is half decent. I don't know, but he is good. He is good. We did a bit of scouting on the channel, and he popped up on every chart. It was hilarious, actually, at the time. I've never seen a person. Yeah, like that's what I mean. Like, talk about like just allowing yourself to get clowned over and over again and doing such a. I actually really enjoyed listening to our defend ourselves with Simon Jordan. But do you know, I'm kind of semi-glad this got brought up, right? Because I've meant, we talk about a lot of stuff on this channel, and we look at other content and other news reports and stuff. And Jim White has been up in conversation once or twice, right? And see, the one thing about Jim White that I do give him a bit of credit for, right, is see if you listen. So Simon Jordan says some stuff about Ennio Luco when our comments are made public on the timeline and whatever. And then when Ennio Luco is in studio, Jim White just throws his pal. He just throws him overboard. He just throws him in the deep end. And the whole conversation, he just constantly does not let him. He's like, but Simon, you said that she couldn't string a sentence together. And, like, he'll just do the thing. He'll just get the lines. He knows the script. He knows what the situation entails and involves, or what the best thing to come out of it is. And he'll do that to his pals. He's done it to Rangers. I know he does it to Celtic, and he's obviously not a friend of the channel or anything like that. Don't get me wrong, but you've got to respect he's got a bit of game to it in that regard, And I really did enjoy listening to the Simon Jordan, Jim White, Ennio Luco little trifecta the other day. I made sure I listened to every minute of it, to be honest with you, because it was just an unmitigated car crash, and she continuously says stuff to contradict herself. Anyway, that's the last thing I'm going to say on it. We bought a player in who hasn't played 2 senior games, yet alone one of the best centre-backs, was a goal threat in the country this season. Go out on loan, shows how nuts that is when it comes to Welsh. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to check in on Stephen Welsh's match rating in this one, because my Celtic fantasy football teams didn't do too great. And sadly, I've got a little bit of a Motherwell spine on the go here, thanks to Welsh, and I won the goalkeeper. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, but Welsh came out with a 65 out of 100 rating in the game. Elliot Watt came back, only played 45 minutes. Welsh was actually just behind Slattery as Motherwell's best performer on the day, statistically speaking. The striker off the bench got a wee cheeky 64 as well. But if we have a look at Welsh in a bit more detail, he also gets the goal. He made a foul. Error led to shot in this one, conceded a goal on top of that too. 7 effective clearances. He made 1 tackle. He lost possession 8 times, won possession 5 times, which is pretty good going in this type of match. He won 6 duels, lost 5. That means he got net positive 1 duel. He's beat. They couldn't get any change out of Big Welshie in this one. 56 passes, 6 of them into the final third, 3 accurate long balls, 2 long balls into the opposition, 8 missed passes, and 1 shot on target for Welshie. Brings it into a 65 out of 100. Well done to him. And unfortunately, Fadinger gets a red card in this one. Again, it's a player I've kind of been familiar with from Austria and whatever. But yeah, I think that's about all she wrote. Now, we've got the Kilmarnock game up next. The Kieran Tierney interview pre-match is already out. I would also maybe couple this into maybe a bit of a preview if we also had like Martin O'Neill previewing it. They do kind of talk about it a little bit, so I guess we'll finish with this.
Last minute equaliser to pull Rangers back and almost level out the title race.
Yeah.
It just seems like, talking about twists and turns, this season's got so many storylines that nothing would say.
Well, that's true. Well, Stephen, excuse me, Stephen was. We brought him back first of all because we didn't have there was a possibility of him disappointed with that, and I think
he also talks about Welsh. Sorry, because I left the video, we lost our timestamp. But he also talks about Welsh had the opportunity to leave permanently, and it didn't happen because Celtic has been hyper conservative. Yeah, there was absolute scenes, wasn't it? I retweeted the goal and the celebrations and everything. It was epic. I recommend, if you've not seen it, going and looking it up specifically.
I think the club saw in many aspects. He was out at
Joey Barton and somebody else did lose a court case to her. They referenced that in the TalkSport thing. And I think that was because he was explicitly saying that she was exclusively a DEI hire, when also it's a much more nuanced situation than that. But that's what I think he was sued over. I don't really know the ins and outs of it all. But I don't think it was really yeah, I'm not too I think I did my best to address your comment.
Out at Motherwell. He wanted to go back. If he wasn't, he didn't really want to be like, he's gone back there. He's really enjoying himself. He's loving it. And that's great for him.
Mentioned before the game, obviously your 200th league game in charge of Celtic, and still finding ways to free your nerves.
I'm 200 games. Is it 200 league games? I was told that there in the interview. I honestly didn't know. I would have got long odds about that there.
Ed Kilmarnock, then Martin. How do you pick the boys up and go again? I mean, you've been doing it for the last month, and what do you expect from Kilmarnock?
A really difficult game. Obviously, they're in a good run of form now at this moment. It changes, and really expect a difficult match.
In terms of what we've seen in the last two Celtic games, you scored last-minute goals to win the game or keep you in the game. Is that a positive or is it a negative? And is it something that you can sustain going forward for the rest of the season?
It's a very good question. I think myself that it's if those late goals did prove resilience and a bit of character, that's great. But I don't think you can live in your nerves for the rest of the time like that. There, expecting or hoping that you're going to dig out a winner very late on. It's just it's not plausible. I don't think.
Are you expecting Kilmarnock to be right up for it as well? They picked up 3 points.
Absolutely, they'll be up for it.
Now, long-standing viewers and subscribers of the channel will know that former Rangers manager Neil McCann is not to be taken lightly in this game. He has thrown a curveball Celtic's way already in his short managerial career. And Kelly, I've had a wee bounce, I think, a wee bounce. It's definitely not a game that we're going to be taking lightly, I would think.
For the enemy. There's no question about that.
And just a quick one on fitness as well. I don't know, is it too early for Arne Engels? Came off
if I was doing this for you on Friday, I'd be here.
Yeah. You already know.
So we'll be back Friday, Martin. Good to know.
I'm so sorry. I don't know is the answer, and I need to speak to the medical staff. But if he's out for some time, that'll be a loss to us.
There was no Yang or Vicar tonight either. Are they injury concerned?
Yeah, no. I thought that for Yang, who's played loads and loads of games, just a wee bit like the way we left a couple out on Saturday, and that was it. There was nothing more than that there. And the young lad coming in, I thought that it was a tough old game for him at the weekend. It's just learning, getting to grips with things. And that's all. But we'll need him anyway. So it's not a major problem.
We will need him. Martin's right. We will. We need everyone that we've signed to play a part in the squad. If we can just get rid of Levy for a second, I think when he says Yang is like get the treatment that Engels and Dyson got, I believe him. I think it totally makes a lot of sense. But we do have, and we're not going to do a preview show here, but if Engels is out, we do have a big question mark for the midfield going into the weekend. I think we're even bringing back into the equation names like Luke McCowan and Paulo Bernardo, because we've got Kinley away, and then whoever does play in the place of Engels has to play Stuttgart for 2 legs, potentially. You'd at least think one of the legs. Martin O'Neill won't. If it was fine, he would have said it was fine. Now, fair enough, he might not know the extent of the injury, but I think the fact that he can't say he's fine, it was a wee precaution, tells you it's something. So we need to wait and see the fullness of time for that one. There's a little bit of chat saying, like, could you play one and the other? Like, you could play McKeown, for example, against Kelly, and you could play Bernardo against Stuttgart. I wouldn't rule something like that out entirely. Of course, we've also got Ox to come off the bench and supplement these situations, maybe even start. I do think one thing is kind of clear. I don't think anyone sees Hatate being the resounding option here, which is a kind of weird state of play right now, isn't it? Because by all rights, it kind of should be Hatate. But the problem is him and Negren, or is it him and Negren? The problem is Hatate's, he's not really fitting in to the system in a weird way, you know? So it's weird how he's not the foregone conclusion for us anyway. Maybe he is for the manager. And, you know, don't write him off, Hatate. That's one thing I would just say about him. He is good, you know. Do we have Ox for Stuttgart? Joe Henry? No, we do not. No, we do not. Last minute winner is a Martin O'Neill specialty. It's definitely a Celtic thing I associate with Celtic, and Martin O'Neill was a big part of that. So I can go along with that completely, Joe Henry. We should just sell Hatate. He's been rubbish for months, says Big Rab again. And yeah, I do. His time probably is done, isn't it, in a lot of ways? But again, like when Hatate's time is done at Celtic and you look back at his time, he will be a player that will be missed. He has been a brilliant player for us. And I think, like, see the whole right back thing, I don't think his position has really been ever nailed on or cleared, you know. He's good on the ball. He covers ground well. He's been kind of played up front for the last year. If you look at the last ebbings of Brendan Rodgers' ball and even some of the early Martin O'Neill games, him and Dyson have been a front too. Or if it wasn't him and Dyson, it was Ian. You know, he's been kind of being the secondary forward for about a year and a half. Under Ange, he was much more like holding hands with McGregor and playing in with Taylor and doing some other bits. And see, under Rodgers initially, he didn't really find a place in the team all the way together. And even early this season under Rodgers, it was a midfield three of Rio, Negren, and McGregor. And Rio, yeah, he was a wee bit second forward at times, but he was still kind of box to box and get out here, pitched on the left with a winger and the fullback and make a wee triangle and do some stuff. So anyway, enough of Hatate chat. I think it's, you know, there's been a bit much of it. Did you see Maloney's 5-minute interview with Sky? I did not, Michael. I look forward to catching up with that. We'll maybe chat more about that tomorrow. But yeah, Kelly is definitely not a game to be taken lightly. We'll be back. Today's Thursday, so we'll be back tomorrow, which is Friday, and we'll preview the Kelly game. When do we actually play Kelly? Is it Friday or Saturday? No, pardon me, is it Saturday or Sunday? I hope it's Saturday. 15th. Oh, that feels like Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. So we're going Sunday, Thursday. And it's a 2 o'clock kickoff. So, we'll probably go live after that. That'll be fun. We'll go live after the game, do a live kind of reaction thing. Jesus, Mary and Jota. I think you know what you'll get with McKeown, but Bernardo potentially has a bigger upside from a run in the team. Yeah, maybe. And I think like Bernardo played quite well against Braga. And I thought at that point, okay, maybe big Paulo Bernardo could kind of kick himself on here in some way. Do we have where's the Braga? There's Feyenoord. Where's Braga? Yeah, I didn't really come out of it that well, but I thought he moved. Like, see, like Oxlade-Chamberlain did, like where it was 1 touch or 2 touch. Bernardo was really good at that in the Braga game, and he has shown signs of that. But I think his problem is he thinks he's an attacking midfielder, and no one else says that. You know what I mean? So whenever he's getting played in the team, he's getting given one job, wants to do a different one, thinks he could do something different or better, and then kind of ends up doing nothing. So, yeah, I'd like to see him play. And we've spoke about the poor man. His career has just died on its backside, the way he's been managed at Celtic over the last year, 2 years, whatever. Yeah. I do think Hatate, yeah, give me the loot, says a comment here. Ox showed Hatate he is playing within himself. He can shoot, but he doesn't. And I kind of spoke about that with the Negren-sized chip in his shoulder after the last match coming into this one, and maybe kind of referenced that a little bit here earlier in the stream. Give me the loot. Is it possible for Rangers and Hearts to both lose? No, I don't think so. I think a draw is the best thing we could hope for, really. A low scoring draw, I think it's the best thing. Yeah, Ox made a pass out wide, missing 2 guys. I noticed that too. And that was like a 1-touch hit, I think, maybe a 2-touch. But he totally sprayed it from, I think I know the one you're talking about. He was in, where is he? He was in this type of position here, and he just absolutely hit Forrest with it when the ball came into him. I think it was maybe, the ball got played in here, maybe first time, just whack, got it out here. May have been a 2-touch, but yeah, I remember that move as well. Rangers play Hearts at 4:30 after us. It's going to be a super Sunday, isn't it? Oh yes, we'll come on. We'll do a bit of post match, and we'll maybe do a wee bit of look at the ugly ones about to play. You know, if Engels is out long term, you think we could go and sign Bakayoko? Do you know, I wouldn't rule out Celtic doing something because really they should. But I'm not. I think the registration window might be closed, even for free agents. I'm not sure they're going to pay that guy's wages. You know, he's a big earner. Even if he was only come in for a couple of months, he's not going to do it for a couple of quid, you know, or pay as you play or any crap like that. So, yeah, discussions for tomorrow, I suppose. Thanks to everyone that's tuned in today. Really appreciate it. Don't forget, when the stream ends, if you're watching this live and loud, the comment section will then open up. So anything you've said in the live chat that I didn't quite see or something you want put into the conversation, drop it into the comment sections. I always have fun going into the comments, replying to them, pinning the really good ones up so other people can see them and that kind of thing, and highlighting them. So feel free to jump into the comment section once it opens up. Enjoy the rest of your night, guys. I'll see you all tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Hail, hail. Mo the hoops.